The Future Life K-Swiss Triathlon Series is proudly brought to you by Future Life and K-Swiss. The 2011 triathlon calendar saw another exciting race going from good to great. The 2011 Midlands Ultra Triathlon, now a half Ironman distance, is one of the most anticipated events of the season and is set perfectly in the triathlon calendar to give SA triathletes the perfect race. Now into its 5th year, this prestigious event is staged in the beautiful setting of Midmar Dam in KZN, and it's also the official South African long course triathlon champs.
Yeah, well, it's it's a good event. Midlands Ultra has been around for a couple of years, and Future Life and K-Swiss have come to the party with big sponsorship for this event. Doubles as SA champs for this year. So yeah, we're looking forward to a good race. Fantastic conditions and great turnout as well. So we're looking forward to some good racing out there. Pretty much we've got a one loop swim out in the dam. I'm not too sure if it's going to be a wetsuit swim at this stage. And then the bike is a 4x 22.5k loop. Not too testing for the cyclists, a little couple of ups and downs, and then the run, that's a 2-lapper, 11.5k or 10.5k each. And the one thing that's going to get to the guys today is the heat. Midmar can be hot, and looking at the conditions now, it's going to be hot later on. So the guys and girls who are strongest near the end and on the run are probably going to take the victories today.
Feeling pretty confident. Hope to have a good race today, but there's a lot of good guys. We'll see what happens today. I think the course is going to be brutal. The heat is rising as we're speaking, so I hope everyone's frozen their bottles out there because it's going to be a warm day and it's going to be tough.
I think it's always a nice race, beautiful scenery. I think the bike route is quite up and down, and the run, I haven't even looked at the route profile, but I think the run may still be a little bit off-road, which is always a bit sore on the legs. Conditions are the same for everyone, so everyone's in the same boat, and let's just enjoy it. Yeah.
So many things can happen on a race like this, but yeah, we're here to have fun, we're here to mingle with all the people and grow the sport.
So, some of the biggest names in triathlon in South Africa on the starting line for today's race, as we see the main race about to get underway with the swim leg. Over 650 competitors in the race today in both the ultra and sprint distance races. The ultra distance triathlon consists of a 1-lap 1.9 kilometer swim, a 4-lap 90 kilometer cycle and a 2-lap 21k run. All levels of athletes will enjoy this unique race, which is set in a spectacular and natural environment. A broad range of categories caters for top athletes, weekend warriors, as well as relay teams. And with a healthy prize purse of 35,000 Rand on offer, all of SA's top triathletes will be battling out for the overall line honours here today. Now, onto the water we go as we catch up with the leaders. There's a small group of 6 in the breakaway, right at the front from the start. Brad Storm, Glenn Gore, Kent Horner and Andrew O'Flaherty holding on to a nice pace, going stroke for stroke. Then another bunch of 3, consisting of Alan Henry, Bryn and Craig Reed. They're about a minute back and they are just ahead of the main pack. Weather during this time of year is always great in the KZN Midlands, and it's the last Ultra Tri before the Ironman SA event, giving the athletes a perfect 6-week taper period before Ironman SA. The event organisers Be Active Sports moved the event to Midmar Dam in 2009, which proved to be highly successful, as the number of competitors has increased each year steadily. On the home stretch now, and the front group of 4 has stretched its lead over the rest of the field, and they start to eye out the exit ramp for the swim to take them to the transition to the bike. Brad Storm out first and looking in fine form today. O'Flaherty and Horner lead Glenn Gore out of the water just a few meters back. Kent Horner very quickly into the transition. A small mishap as he steps onto his bike, but quickly up and on his way. Brad Storm follows him out of the transition area as they begin their assault on the 90-kilometer bike course. Evergreen Glenn Gore and Andrew O'Flaherty leave together as the next group of swimmers exit the water. Alan Henry out in 5th, and Craig Reed and Bryn making their way to the transition as well. The First Lady out of the water now, and Corinne Berg has had a fantastic swim of 28 minutes, giving the men something to think about today.
Swim was quite tough, but done.
The demands of an ultra-distance athlete at this level means juggling a rigorous training regime with day-to-day activities. We caught up with Glenn Gore to find out exactly what that entails.
I'm Glenn Gore, I'm 41 years old, I live in Umhlanga, KZN. Been doing triathlon for 20 odd years, trying to combine a family life with business and sport at the same time. Generally speaking, my day would probably start at about 3:30, 4 a.m. in the morning. I'd go for a cycle. Love bikes. I mean, just the bling factor and all the equipment and the advances that come out in the world of time trial bikes, keeps me fascinated for hours. So I really love bikes, even though it's my weakest leg. That's something that guys who work and have families don't really have the time to do. That's why we're waking up at 4 a.m. to actually go and cycle. Come back, get the kids off to school, and then go swim. Once I've had my swim, I'm off to the office. I'm also the editor and marketing manager for both Triathlon Plus South Africa and Multisport magazine, and pretty much what that entails is editing and putting the magazines together from an editorial point of view, as well as marketing the magazines. Without advertising, the magazines won't exist. So I pretty much coordinate the advertising and editorial together and run those magazines on behalf of a couple of partners. So yeah, that pretty much keeps me busy from about, say, 9 a.m. in the morning through to early afternoon. Most of the work is done on the laptop and on the phone, so it's quite easy to communicate with people business-wise via those means. After that, I pretty much pick up the kids, come back, do a little bit of work from home, and then some more training in the afternoon. And that pretty much summarizes a day in the life of a professional triathlete trying to combine family and work at the same time. My goal is really to grow the sport and to give something back. And I'm doing that through a couple of ways. One of them being involved in this triathlon series, which I put together with Future Life and K-Swiss. 3 events, and we're looking to grow that series in the near future. The other aspect is coaching. I coach youngsters, swimming and triathlon, as well as age groupers and seniors. So they're pretty much is life after professional triathlon, but I enjoy the sport so much. So it's important that I keep involved in the sport and try and grow the sport, so that it becomes one of the world's most well-known sports.
Back to the action now, and we catch up with the field near the end of their second lap on the bike course. Glenn Gore here hanging on to 6th place right now, chasing down Gerard de Bruin and Gilbert Kevovalles, who is trading places with him constantly. Just ahead of De Bruin and Kevovalles, Andre Buyend is making up some time lost on the water. He's moved up from 8th and now holds a firm grip on 3rd place. We catch up with our leaders on lap 3 of the 22-kilometer bike loop as they approach the turn into the final lap. A furious pace being set here by Storm and Horner, with top speeds peaking at 70 k's an hour, and they're averaging 45 k's an hour.
My name's Paul Sard. I'm involved with Future Life. I'm the CEO. Future Life is basically a brand new concept regarding food. It's a combination of a highly nutritional food with a clinically tested product called ModuCare. The advantage of ModuCare is that it's enhanced performance from a natural product perspective, and it's got pro-inflammatories, and I think from a sportsman's perspective they're always looking for an edge. 7 out of the top 10 comrades runners, that's what they eat every day, is Future Life. So I think from a general nutritional perspective it's doing something for these sportsmen. The main reason we got involved is we were very surprised at how many sportsmen actually took to the product and the feedback we got from sportsmen. And myself being a sportsman is obviously something that excites myself and our company, and it's nice to be involved with people that are involved with health and nutrition at a peak performance area. We're looking forward to the Johannesburg and Durban event, and we'll see Future Life more often in these occasions, and great to be here.
Into the home stretch now, and Boyan still hanging on to third, about 10 kilometers out. At the front of the race, the dogfight continues as Storm and Horner joust for the lead. Storm makes a move and snatches the lead, knowing the last stretch is mainly undulating hills, with the majority of it being downhill. So he'll look to capitalize and not only conserve energy for the upcoming half marathon, but take tactical advantage on the rest of the chasing pack. Into the transition area, and Horner wasting no time in getting changed and out onto the run. He takes back the lead as Storm follows just behind. Andre Boyens reaches transition in third, just a few minutes back. Still a lot of racing out there on the course to be had, and a few minutes can equate to nothing over distances like these. Gerard de Bruin and Gilbert Kevavalliers into transition now, making up the last of the top 5 places. Temperatures peaking at around 35 degrees now. And this will make racing out on the course all the more difficult. Just under 21 kilometers to go for some, whilst others still have a long day left out there.
How's it going so far?
Lekker man, awesome course, nice and fast, few bumps, hopefully an hour and a half we're all done.
How's it going? Looking strong?
Going alright, yeah?
Cool.
This last finish is soon. Back on the start.
Strong.
This is the turnaround in the run leg, and we see a change in the field once more. Kent Horner is still leading, but it seems that Brad Storm, after taking the lead shortly into the run, has turned in the wrong direction, and he's now out of the race after going off course. Boyens now moves steadily along in second, as we see the first of the teams storming along today, almost an hour ahead of the next team. Kent Horner still leading and looking strong out there in the fierce heat of the sun. Nearing the end of his first run lap, and what a day this has turned out to be. A fantastic venue here in the Midlands at KZN for the Midlands Ultra.
How's it? I'm Jeremy Null from KZN. We're obviously a sponsor of the SA Triathlon Champs here at Midmar. We've been involved in triathlon for 2 years now in South Africa and globally. We cater specifically for triathlons. Over and above that, we do have running shoes, but triathlons needs and functional triathlon shoes are what KZN have modified and come up with. I think from our perspective, it's more of a branding opportunity, getting the consumers to feel and see the brand, teaching them and training them on the features and benefits of the brand. So for us, it's dual purpose. It's obviously to get our brand out there and to put something into the sport. And that's basically how we got involved through Glenn and our own triathlon team. And obviously with an investment into the sports on a long-term basis. We don't do it as a short-term quick fix. It's a long-term brand strategy, and we'll be on it for at least 3 years. And for us, it's to see triathlon grow in the country with our brand.